I think it's been really, really fun. It's been great to meet the people doing it, but it's also great to see sort of social sciences, arts and humanities coming together to produce something that is really creative. We do a lot of that at the Academy, trying to think of new arts-based methods to use to get people involved in policy making, so it's great to see something like this happening somewhere else as well. I think this one would be really good for getting people to think about the complexity and uncertainty around policy making. And that's something that's often overlooked within the research community, understanding not just the cycle of policy, but also how within that cycle there are lots of different things that can go right and go wrong, and that's really helped people to understand that, I think. So we would definitely bring that to some of our early career researchers to get them to think more about how they can best intervene in the policy sector.
It's been really quite fun. I've been in government in several roles for I don't know, a couple of years now in different policy roles, and it's quite interesting to see a different perspective of it and kind of highlight some of the chaosness involved in policy making. But I think it's a really interesting tool to teach people that maybe aren't as close or exposed to government policy. But I think it's a really exciting tool to use in universities to help researchers understand policy, and so maybe they can see how their research can then intersect in certain policy kind of areas, and yeah, it's an area that I'd really like to see grow, and I think it's a really fun and different way of doing it rather than reading papers about it or listening to seminars. It's just a different way of learning.
Hi, I'm Nick. I am a civil servant of 26 years, or for 26 years. I work at the Department of Education and I run education for policy professionals in government. So there are 38,000 of them. It's been bags of fun. I think it's been really novel and innovative to come and play an immersive game that captures, my lived experience as a policy professional in a really uncannily accurate way. I think, I recognise the problems that Churn throws up. I recognise the fact that losing half your team in the blink of an eye can be really problematic. I recognise also that the political process has many ups and downs. It's a bit like a soft play. You can find lots of different events from outside coming and affecting you. So yeah, it's been really good, really effective at representing some of the challenges that we face as civil servants out there in the wild.
So I'm Hugh Morris. I work at the Institute of Education at University College London. I'm on secondment from the Welsh Government, where I was a civil servant for 10 years with responsibility for education. And in my current role, I'm working with a team to evaluate the policy fellowship scheme that Melissa was on when she developed this policy game, which the IFG were supporting because they are the trainers for the policy fellowship scheme. The policy fellowship scheme pays for researchers in universities across the UK to spend time in a placement in a government department. And so that's why I'm here. I'm doing the evaluation to find out how the game works and what people think of it. And I've been incredibly impressed by everyone's engagement, the sophistication of the game, the realism of the game, and the way in which it held everyone's attention. What I find is that in universities there's not a particularly good understanding of how policy is developed, and that is slightly a problem because many areas of university education are very practical, as we heard from Jean-Noel earlier, and it's important if people are going to work in social work, in teaching, in healthcare settings, or in the police or whatever, that they understand how the rules and regulations governing what they do are developed and how they can influence them, because frontline staff or staff in senior positions have got valuable insights that policymakers and politicians need to know about.
I've loved it. It's been so much fun. I mean, I'm a bit geeky anyway and I quite like games, but then to be able to have the crossover of the day job with the gamification, I think that's the verb, isn't it? It's been really fun. And it's been really interesting with the people I'm sitting around the table with. It sparked a bit of debate and discussion, and that's always a good thing. I think it'd be quite interesting to my undergraduate students because I work with them in terms of translating research into policy and practice, and I think it gives them a better idea of the reality of what we're doing when we're trying to develop policy. But I also think about the team I work with at the Ministry of Justice. I think they would quite enjoy it at one of the team away days to get a better sense of how they're working alongside different colleagues across the government and how different events that happen in the world will impact our policy making efforts.
My name is Jay Tattai. I'm the Chief Visionary Officer of an initiative called Voice for Locals. It was first initiated by the UK government, and now we're rolling it out. We started this in Northern Ireland, now we're rolling it out across England, Scotland and Wales. It's kind of surreal, to be honest. A lot of events that happen in the game, the roll of dice, actually happened to me in real life. And I was like, bizarre. So is somebody really monitoring me? Because that's reality. The board game actually echoed a lot of reality. Yeah, so essentially, I'm looking at this particular game not as a civil servant, but as a vendor sitting outside of the government. So many times we have a solution, we're ready to do a rollout, we want to solve a problem for the government, but things change, there's delays, and we always get like upset about, oh my God, why is this, why is nothing getting implemented quite quickly? And then playing this game made me realize that so many political events could potentially happen, policy events could happen, and volatile points could go, churn could go. This is the first time I've experienced all that, and now I'm able to rationalize why there is a delay. And so I won't be as hard to myself as to people that I work with. So that's given me a lot of insights. Yeah, it's bang on. Now it gives me what I would expect for a 2-week turnaround. Now I'm happy to give about a month turnaround because I know there's so many uncertainties that could potentially happen. So that would set the expectation high. In the meantime, like what we did together as a team, our ministers kind of got changed about 3 times. So it was not easy to play the game. But despite that, I think all of us had the focus to keep the policy going on. So eventually we got almost 100 points. We got 99 points. So despite the ministers, was sacked for like about 3, or resigning or sacked for 3 times. So which sounded very positive because despite all the odds, if you have your eyes on what you want to achieve, I think you would still be able to achieve. It's a philosophical point I learned from the board game as well. So it's really good.
My name's Francis. I'm a town planner. I work for an architectural practice. We have offices across the country. So a large part of my role is securing planning permission. Yeah, it was really fun actually. I have sort of a limited base knowledge when it comes to policy, particularly policy making. I have no knowledge, and I felt that we were all quite engaged as we sort of worked through. I think at the beginning we were all a bit apprehensive and we didn't really know what we were doing. Obviously we had a games master that helped us, and kind of as we started progressing, things started to make a little bit more sense, and it was quite interesting how sort of an element of competitiveness when we knew that there was kind of a risk-reward element. And I think everyone started getting a bit more into it at that point. So yeah, and the thing that I did quite like is when you pull out certain cards and completely outrageous things might happen that have an impact on how you're doing. And it actually kind of brought sort of a bit of laughter to the game as well. So yeah, it was good. But I do think there are things within it that you can apply to, the real world. And I think we were quite fortunate because we had Nick on our team and he's obviously very experienced in that field, and having that, having him there as well actually kind of helped us sort of try and kind of make sense of things and how it actually affects him in his job.
It was lovely to be able to work with people who are more involved in policy making than we are. So it had quite a significant educational element for myself personally. And it's definitely something I'd love to bring back to the team. I think definitely for people who are new to policy making, so for example, how we work more in design and innovation, it's a wonderful priming tool to begin to understand how our work might inform or might be relevant to policy making, and also the more systemic or unexpected considerations that are involved in converting something that might be a nice idea into actual implementation.